How y'all doing?
Good.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you all having me out. I'm excited about this opportunity, and I hope you all are as well. I see a lot of wonderful student athletes out here in the audience, and so just always remember that the student aspect is important as well, very important. So my hope is that you never lose sight of that. So as was mentioned, I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. And like many, I grew up in a single-parent home. My mom raised my older brother and I on her own. So my mother, for me, is a great example of dreaming big and overcoming obstacles. So to start off, my mom was the fourth youngest of 15 kids. So as you can imagine, their household was very, very chaotic and busy. But my mom, when she was in high school, made a very not so wise decision. She decided to drop out of high school. Now she dropped out of high school, she made this choice. She realized that it wasn't a wise choice to make. I have a good friend named Rev Kev, and his tagline is, make champ choices. Say, make champ choices.
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 So several years later, my mom made a champ choice to go back to school. She went back to school and received her GED. After she received her GED, she then pursued her bachelor's degree. Now, in the process of pursuing her bachelor's degree, my mom was in school full-time, working full-time, as well as trying to raise two very rebellious sons. And in the process, more significantly, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
But my mom is a fighter. There's one thing I realized about her. There's one thing I love about her. She's a fighter. And she stayed strong in the midst of as the odds were against her, she stayed strong. And I'm happy to say that my mom is cancer-free today. So she went on and got her bachelor's degree and became a registered nurse. About 2 or 3 years ago, she graduated from Tennessee State with her master's degree. And now she's a practicing nurse practitioner.
Woo!
So my mom went from being a high school dropout to becoming a nurse practitioner. She overcame the odds. And I'm grateful for that example she set for me. And as I think about my mom's story and I think about my own story, I'm reminded of a poem by the late Tupac Shakur entitled, A Rose That Grew from Concrete. And it says, did you hear about the rose that grew from the cracks in the concrete? Proving nature's laws is wrong, it learned to walk without heavy feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete, when no one else ever cared. I can relate a lot in many ways to this poem. When you think about a rose and how it is grown, it needs nourishment. It needs the proper soil. It needs water. It needs sunlight. But to grow from the crack, but for a rose to grow from the crack in the concrete is to overcome the odds. A beautiful rose grows from this hard and rough surface. In essence, beauty grows from ugliness. But by keeping its dreams. I grew up in an environment in Detroit, Michigan, full of violence, gang activity, drugs, low school performances. And I was often reminded growing up that it was more likely for me to go to jail than to go to college. So it seemed that the odds were against me. But by keeping its dreams, I went from these challenging circumstances to becoming a high school graduate, obtaining my bachelor's and master's degree, marrying the woman of my dreams, becoming a father, and having the privilege to speak to you all today. only by keeping my dreams. I had a big dream. Now repeat after me. Dream big.
Dream big.
Dream big.
Dream big.
Come on, say it like you mean it.
Dream big.
Dream big.
All right, so show of hands. How many of you have a big dream that you would like to accomplish someday?
Of course, I'm still
Okay. So I see we have a lot of world changers. Okay, you put your hands down. Now, how many of you have a dream that you dream of accomplishing something other than becoming a professional athlete? Raise your hand. Awesome. All right. There's nothing wrong with becoming a professional athlete. I was just curious. And I realized that where I'm from, that everyone growing up wanted to be a professional athlete. That was kind of what they thought was their ticket to get out of Detroit. And so I just wanted to ask that. So I see we have a lot of world changers. So I'm sure that you all are familiar with Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. But this speech was very significant. He had a bold dream, and he relentlessly pursued it. His dream changed the world. I have a dream, says Dr. King, that this nation will live out the true meaning of its creed, and that people of all races could live peacefully together and love one another. His dream gave him purpose. His dream was the driving force behind his actions. The boycotts, the sit-ins, the marches, and his nonviolent movement were all extensions of his bold dream. But again, he was bold enough to dream.
Good.
A big dream, a huge dream. But only by keeping his dreams. Now many of us were raised to believe that the sky is the limit, and rightfully so. We believe that we can accomplish anything. However, over the years, people in our lives have attempted to place a ceiling in our skies by telling us negative things about ourselves. We are all influenced in some way by the people around us. I mean, think about it. There's people in our lives that can make us feel like we can accomplish anything, that we can be Superman. Likewise, there are people in our lives that can be so negative and tell us all the reasons why we can't be great. I was speaking to a cousin the other day, and I was telling him about my dream of becoming a motivational speaker. And his response was, man, ain't no adults gonna listen to you, you too young. These people could be our kryptonite. So please don't be other people's kryptonite. Encourage one another. Iron sharpens iron. So growing up, I believed I could be anything. I believed I can accomplish anything. I wanted to play in the NBA. I wanted to play in the NFL. And I wanted to be a doctor. Until people around me told me I wasn't good enough to play basketball. I was too small to play in the NFL. And I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor. I allowed these people in my life to place a ceiling in my sky. A sky that was once limitless. Because I believed it. My hope today is to influence you all to be great. To dare to dream and relentlessly pursue your dreams. Because believe it or not, there are people counting on it. There are two types of people in our lives. There are those who influence us to be great. And there are those who influence us to be average. Or even below average. So be mindful of those you hang out with. Do not hang out with those who hinder you from doing great things, from dreaming big dreams. I can remember the time when someone made me feel like I can accomplish anything. It was my high school track and field coach, Coach Lynch. I ran for Coach Lynch for about 3 or 4 years. Now mind you, my name is Isaiah. But for 3 or 4 years, Coach Lynch called me Isaac. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if he couldn't pronounce my name. But at first, I continued and constantly tried to correct him. But when I realized that that wouldn't work, I just embraced it. But it all started when I ran a mile in one of my first track meets. Now, a mile is 4 laps around the outdoor track. And at the time, I was new to track and field, so I wasn't really aware of this. Now, I don't share this story very much to many people. So when I share this story, please do not judge me. Do not judge me. So, as I was running this mile, I got to about the 3rd lap of this mile. And I'm running. And all of a sudden, this young lady pulls up beside me. And she said, "Good job." So I thought to myself, she just disrespected me. And my ego wouldn't let me lose to this young lady. So I took off. I started sprinting. It wasn't until I got to the finish line that I realized I had a whole other lap to go. And at that point, I was tired. So as you can imagine, here comes this young lady again, who runs by me. And she said again, "Good job." And I thought to myself, she's very disrespectful. But again, I couldn't do anything because I was tired. And so, now again, don't judge me. So, when I got to the finish line, I did what any other young man would have did in my situation. I faked an injury. Now, I fell on the ground and grabbed my hamstring and was yelling, "Coach, coach, coach." Then all of a sudden, I see my coach running up. And my coach, you know, he was very strong-willed. And when he ran up to me, he said, "Isaac, get up off that track. Don't nobody pull their hamstring running the mile." I was very embarrassed, needless to say. But it humbled me. And as a result of this event, of this circumstance, I felt that I was slow. But Coach Lynch saw otherwise. Coach Lynch began to pour into me. He began to invest in me. So much so that he pulled me to the side one day and he said, "Isaac, I see something great in you. You will not get there unless you are willing to work. Blood, sweat, and tears. And there will be tears. Only until you are willing to put in the work will your greatness be realized, and you will reach your dreams." Coach Lynch saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. He presented to me a vision and helped me see. Again, I wasn't that fast. My teammates used to talk about me because of how slow I was, but I was committed. I showed up. I worked hard. Blood, sweat, and tears. And yes, there were tears. I had setbacks. I failed at some things. But there's something great about failure. Failure keeps us humble. It helps us have this attitude with gratitude. Because once we finally reach success, we will always remember where we came from. And it keeps us humble. So I went from, believing that I was slow and I wasn't fast enough and I wasn't good enough to becoming a high school All-American, to obtaining a track and field scholarship to college, and being blessed with the opportunity to run over in Europe.
Yeah.
But by keeping my dreams, I learned to breathe fresh air. I had a dream to make a positive impact on the world, using my influence as an athlete. I had a dream of going to college and being a first-generation college graduate, using sports as the vehicle to get me there. Despite the environment I grew up in, my dream was always bigger than my circumstances. And despite the environment that you're growing up in, that you perceive maybe as negative, your dream has to be bigger than your circumstances.
Yeah.
Through the journey, I'm reminded of these words, and I often repeated them to myself. I know the plans that I have for you. Plans for your good and not for harm. To give you a future and a hope. I realized that all that I went through, it prepared me, it equipped me for the process. It was a process to get me where I dream of being. All that you are going through, it's a process of getting you to where you dream of being. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be in a position with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes where I can have a positive impact on the world by combining two things that I'm very passionate about and that I love dearly: my faith and sports. I am in a position to influence the influencers. Who do you think are the influencers? Anybody?
Me.
Share with me. Anybody?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Our coaches. Anybody else? Who are the influencers? Our parents. Our teachers. And each and every one of you have influence, great influence on your peers. You may not realize it, but many of your peers envy you. They wish they were blessed with the talents that you have. They wish they were in your shoes. You have great influence on your peers. So don't take that responsibility lightly. You have the power to change the world. Not only your school, not only your community, but the world. I have a dream, just like Dr. King said. With these 4 words, you can change the world. What are your dreams? Do you currently have dreams bigger than yourself? Dreams of making this world a better place. We all have something in us that this world needs. So please don't rob this world of your greatness, because as I said, there are people counting on you. Harriet Tubman said, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. My senior year in high school, I was asked by my guidance counselor, what would you like to be when you grow up? I thought to myself, look, first of all, I'm grown.
Of course.
Then I responded, I want to be a professional athlete. But if that doesn't work out, I want to be a doctor. And after she discouraged me from being a doctor and encouraged me to choose a different path, my friend laughed and said, you're living in a fairy tale. He said this as if people from Detroit can't become doctors. As if Dr. Ben Carson, who was one of the greatest surgeons on the planet, didn't walk these same Detroit streets. Or a product of the same Detroit public school system. You see, I was asked what I wanted to be, told what I couldn't become, and told what I should be, making me feel lesser than I am. But I am more. Where I'm from, I was told that I would be nothing more than a statistic, a thug, strung out on drugs, a dealer, dead or locked up in prison. Well, the fact that I hate math made me more driven to add who God created me to be and subtract who the culture says that I am equally. A confusing equation, craving the answer to one of life's most challenging questions. Who am I? We live in a world with competing stories. And from the time of my youth, it has been putting the dreamer to bed like a story read to a child. Then the dreamer in me awakes in a confused state because these stories are playing tug of war with my heart. Who am I? I was told because I was fast, I was an athlete. I was told because of my looks, I was ugly. I was told that because of an absent father, that absent I would be. I was told that because I grew up in it, that I would always live in poverty. And because it was so normal for us all, I was told that the inner city of Detroit is all there is and all there would ever be. I was told that I was stupid, young and clueless, wounded from the stories I was told, paralyzed by the world's control. I believed in the stories I was told. Most of the stories I was told were lies. My true self was veiled by the world's standards, by the American dream we are fed to digest like our daily bread. I am not who they want me to be. I am not who they told me I am. Who am I? I am smart, I am brilliant, creative and resilient. I am a husband, a father, I am a man. And like the little engine that could, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yeah. Awesome. He's a poet too.
I was created in the image of the Creator. I am more. I am more than the world's standards. I am more than the American dream. I was created with divine intentions, a great invention to solve the world's problems. Listen, we are powerful beyond measure, and no weapon formed against us shall prosper. We are more than conquerors through Christ who loves us. And our worth is not in this world, but in Him who created this world. I repeat, our worth is not in this world, but in Him who created this world. You are beautiful. Your beauty the world ignores. Your beauty God adores. Because I am, you are, we are more. And I want to tell you, just like Coach Lynch told me, I see something great in each and every one of you. But you won't get there unless you are willing to work at it. Blood, sweat, and tears. And yes, there will be tears. Only until you are willing to put in the work will your greatness be realized. Now I want you to make this declaration with me. Repeat after me. I will be bold.
I will be bold.
I will be courageous.
I will be courageous.
I will work hard.
I will work hard.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Tears.
Until my dreams come to pass.
Until my dreams come to pass.
Now go out in the world to be great.
I go out in the world to be great. I'm going to be great.